one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
20 turnovers, 3 for 23 from downtown. It's just one of them fucking nights for the Lakers. I can't be mad at it. I'm not even tripping on it. It's just one of them nights. But yo, welcome back to another episode of Kickin' It with Saint. We got to talk about these fucking Lakers, but I do want to address something real fast. Because I keep forgetting that Tim Duncan won the MVP of the finals in 2007. I don't know why in my head I keep giving that to Manu or Parker. But Timmy won 3 finals MVPs. I said he had won 2. He won 3. Kawhi and Tony was the ones who won him off of him. But my comments on Tim Duncan still remain. To me, he's overrated. I'm not taking nothing away from his greatness, even though by saying he is overrated, that's taking a lot away from his greatness. I just think you put Kevin Garnett in that situation. Not only is he averaging more points and playing just as great a defense, if not better, because he's a better athlete, he could fit in that system too. Like, bro, Kevin Garnett played with the fucking Timberwolves for the majority of his career. And as great as Tim Duncan was defensively, for one, I ain't taking nothing away. He lead the NBA like he got the most playoff blocks all time and all that. But listen, you taking Tim Duncan at the peak of his defensive prowess or Dwight Howard at the peak of his defensive prowess? Dennis Rodman legit is only in the Hall of Fame because of his defense and his personality or antics or his character. Because the man couldn't score for shit. I be seeing people argue Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green. I'm about to piss some people off because I think Draymond Green a better all-around player than Dennis Rodman. And if you want to just talk about defense, I think he a better defender than Dennis Rodman. I think the reason people try to discredit and hate on Draymond is because they don't like Draymond. I guess I get it, but Draymond Green can guard 1 through 5. I done seen Draymond. Now, to Dennis Rodman's credit, I have not seen every Dennis Rodman game there is to see. I've been watching Draymond since he came out of Michigan. So I don't know I haven't seen every Dennis Rodman play there is to play. Maybe back in the day he did guard 1 through 5. I'm looking. They don't show him guarding 1 through 5 in the highlights, but I'm looking at Draymond guard 1 through 5. I'm looking at him ball handle and run the show like a point guard. I'm watching him set up dudes. I'm watching him and Curry with one of the best two-man games in NBA history. I'm watching this man lock up Anthony Davis. I'm watching him play, like I said, defend 1 through the 5. And he's a better scorer than fucking I'm not getting on here claiming that Draymond Green is a scorer. But Draymond Green is a better scorer than Dennis Rodman. He's a better shooter than Dennis Rodman. So, listen. I understand people letting Jordan's clout leak off onto Dennis Rodman. But to me, some people might say it's Steph Curry's clout leaking off to Draymond. But I'm just thinking, I'm thinking about Draymond Green as the individual player. And I think individually, he is a better player than Dennis Rodman. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from Dennis Rodman. I think Dennis Rodman is a 75th anniversary team member. But if he is, then Draymond Green is also. If you don't care about offense when it comes to Rodman, then I don't know how you can hold Draymond Green out. Because Draymond Green is one of the best players in today's NBA. And he done been one of the best players for a long time in this league. You can call him the ultimate utility guy. I don't really care. All I know is the dude do everything. And he a multi-time champion. A defensive player of the year, should have won more than one defensive player of the year. He can run the show. Like, I don't know what more Draymond. I mean, if Draymond Green averaged about 24 points, y'all would think he was one of the greatest players of all time. So I don't get it. Like I said, y'all not punishing Dennis Rodman for having absolutely no scoring ability whatsoever, but you punish Draymond Green. So I don't know, man. Kind of weird. I had just thought about that recently, but that's not even what we talking about tonight. Yo, I want to go back to the Lakers because the Lakers getting their asses whooped right now, and it's just it's just one of them nights. But I'm very confused with the Warriors because the Warriors lost today too, and they blew a lead today. And Steph Curry was out there by himself with a bunch of young guys. Poole. Wiggins not a young guy, but I mean he young is basically he's never had any real important games or anything like that. And I know Timberwolves got to the playoffs once, I believe, but I count Wiggins as like Wiggins ain't like no great vet in my opinion. Like I know he was an All-Star for the first time this year, even though he only averaging 13 since making the All-Star nod. Andrew Wiggins to me, he is what he is. But to me, the biggest problem with the Warriors right now, and I understand they're either first, second, or third in the West. My biggest problem with them when I look at the Warriors is they don't have what that first Warriors team had, what the championship Warriors team had. And I understand they got a lot of nice young dudes and whatnot, but I really think they need to trade some of these young dudes for experienced vets. Like, I don't see the purpose of Jordan Poole on this team no more. If Klay Thompson is healthy and Klay Thompson worked himself back into being Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole is expendable. Andrew Wiggins is also expendable. I don't understand the purpose of them holding on to these dudes. And this is probably why I think this. When you have a Klay Thompson out and a Draymond Green out, and now it's just Curry, who are the vets on this team that can go get a bucket like a Sean Livingston could work the mid-range game? Like Andre Iguodala when he first got there, he could run. Not only could he get his own bucket when he needed to get inside and get a bucket and run in transition and stuff, he could set other dudes up to get a bucket. Mo Spates, who could, and we call him Mo Buckets. He could just go get a bucket. He was a great shooter. Like the Warriors that had so many vets in the past that could either get you a stop or get you a bucket. So Curry wouldn't have to do everything. Like Sean Livingston used to just be an absolute beast. I don't see that with the Warriors right now. Iggy, more advanced. You really saving him for the playoffs. Dre is not there. He's hurt right now. He's been hurt for a while now, for about 2 months. You got Klay, he was sick, so he didn't play this game. Like, I like the young pieces they got. Gary Payton, I like all these young pieces the Warriors got. But I don't understand how the Warriors organization, and the Warriors organization might be starting to do something that's really starting to piss me off, I think. Because I done seen organizations in different sports do this, where they think that their organization is too good, or they run it too well, or we just too good of an organization to take chances on certain players or to make certain type of signings and shit. Like, I don't understand the Warriors not seeing the value of a Carmelo Anthony on this team. I really don't see how the Warriors haven't seen the value of a Carmelo Anthony for a minute, but I especially don't see how they didn't see the value of a Carmelo Anthony at the All-Star break. Like, to me, Carmelo should have been a dude that they was trying to make a trade for at the All-Star break, because Carmelo Anthony's scoring ability would be huge for Golden State right now. Having Carmelo come off of the bench, having him be able to start in some games, and listen, I know Carmelo Anthony is a liability on defense right now. I understand at times he don't try, at times he out there just running around on defense and whatnot. I get that. But if the Warriors are the team that we think they is, and they great at putting people in great positions on defense and whatnot, Carmelo will be fine. And because of how they move the ball and whatnot, Melo going to get so many opportunities to get open looks. So I really don't see how Golden State didn't see the value of a Carmelo Anthony. And if they don't sign him in the offseason, I really don't understand what's going on in this organization, because having a scorer like and a vet like Carmelo Anthony, who is chasing a championship and who is a catch and shoot player, who can go get his own bucket, who can work the mid-range when you need to give Curry a break. I just don't understand not going. Like, to me, the Warriors adding Carmelo will work in another way too, because Carmelo can actually ISO up. Like, say you need Curry and Dre and, just to take a little quick break for a couple plays. Melo can actually ISO guys up and go get you a bucket. So I don't understand not trading for Carmelo Anthony, not looking into Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony, to me, would be a perfect piece for the Warriors. To me, the Warriors are relying on so many young dudes right now. You're not putting any veterans, like any legitimate score. Like, and I understand you got what's the dude's name? Otto Porter. But these dudes, to me, are not vets because they haven't been to the playoffs multiple times. They haven't had multiple deep runs in the playoffs. They haven't been on either a winning or losing finals team or even been close to that type of thing. So I don't look at Otto Porter and some of these dudes who've been in the league for a long time as experienced vets. Or, like, I know if I had Carmelo Anthony on my team in the crunch time, in high pressure games or situations, I can rely on him to go get me a bucket. Andre Iguodala, I could rely on him to get me a stop. I could rely on Sean Livingston to get me a bucket for a couple minutes while the starters was sitting out. Like, to me, the bench is such an important thing, and having that mixture of young dudes and vets, like Curry, Clay, and Dre can't be the only vets and the only champions and great players on this team. Like, I understand Jordan Poole and all these dudes, but Curry got at least 5-6 more great years in him. Who knows? All I know is you cannot keep, to me, Jordan Poole, you done did what you were supposed to do with Jordan Poole. Basically develop him to the point where his trade value is high. Now you can trade Jordan Poole to possibly go get a disgruntled superstar on a team that would be looking to improve. You could package Jordan Poole. I don't understand continuing this thing with Wiseman. At this point, to me, what you should be doing with Wiseman is trying to get his value up so you could package him in a trade. Because the Warriors, Steph Curry and these dudes ain't got time for these rookies or these young dudes to continue to try to learn how to play in certain situations and get better in certain situations. And at this point, you wait for Wiseman to develop. I don't see why you put Steph through that. I don't see why you put Clay through that. I don't see how you put Dre through that. Like, to me, the organization for the Warriors is starting to get really, really stuck in their ways or drinking a little bit too much of their own Kool-Aid. Like, bro, it's moves that can be made that will make this team a better team and make them more serious of contenders this year and for years to come. Like, I just don't see why you don't go get Carmelo Anthony is better than every single one of the bench players for the Warriors right now, scoring-wise. You put Carmelo Anthony on this team, he the third best scorer on the team already, behind Curry and Clay. And possibly the second best scorer on the team right now because Clay is still playing his way back into a rhythm. Like, I just don't understand not bringing over a Carmelo Anthony or trying to make that trade or trying to get him in the offseason. Like, to me, the Warriors is not... Bro, these young dudes, and listen, maybe I could be proven wrong. Maybe they get to a finals and win it. And that's the only way, to me, you could prove me wrong. Or if Curry and them and Clay just go bonkers and lead this team to a championship. But it's so hard to ask Curry, Clay, and Dre to be the best. Like, it's not hard to ask them to do their job and be the best players, obviously. But it's so much easier for them to do that when they can rely on dudes coming off of the bench and dudes that's playing big minutes for them like they could for a Mo Space, a Andre Iguodala, Sean Livingston, and so many other dudes that used to come off of the bench for them like Leandro Barbosa. Like, it was so many different older vets that specialize in shooting, defense, running the show. Like, they had so many different dudes to help. And I just think now that you look at this team, they don't have enough experienced vets who done been there, done that, like, to me, Carmelo makes so much sense for the Warriors. So much sense. And with the way they play, that would make Carmelo so much, like, his value would triple with the Warriors. Like, I just don't understand how they don't see that was... Maybe it's money or something like that, but I don't know, man. I don't understand how that wasn't a move. Like, to me, Carmelo was such a glaring move that could have been made for the Warriors that instantly improved this team. Because I just don't trust the young dudes on this team. Like, I don't trust the young dudes on most teams. Like, I think the bench and young dudes is what holds certain teams back in certain situations. Like, to me, when they get to like the conference finals against Phoenix or whatever they get to, you're going to want a player like Carmelo. You're going to want a player like just some of these, you know who I'm talking about, like a Patrick Beverly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk a lot of shit about Patrick Beverly, but that's a great vet to have. To me, that's a player they should have tried to make a trade for. Do you know how valuable a Patrick Beverly would be? For one, he can hit the three for you if you need him to. Then he can play great defense for you. Now, I say a lot that Patrick Beverly do just be doing a lot of running around like Brody said. But listen, Patrick Beverly would, and the way he played too, bruh, the Warriors, to me, once the Warriors make that decision to invest in a bench and some actual vets and stop doing this vet minimum and investing in young dudes who you can hold on the paychecks and shit, then they'll go to that next level. I mean, imagine if the Warriors had a bench right now with Carmelo Anthony, Paul Millsap, Patrick Beverly. Then you can have a young dude. Then a Jordan Poole would make sense. Because you got an older dude on the court directing shit when Curry and them boys come off so that the young dudes don't get reckless or whatnot. You got the older dudes on the court to slow shit down, to calm things down. That's what most Spates used to do. Like, I just think the Warriors missing a couple pieces, and that's why I cannot pick them to win a championship right now. And I'm looking at a team like the Bucks if they get healthy and the mixture of vets and guys they got. Looking at the Nets, those just feel like better teams to me. Even Utah to an extent, but I'm not picking Utah. But I'm interested to see what they do with it. I just think the Warriors done got to the point now where you can trade some of these young dudes, these up-and-coming dudes, because they're not starting no time soon over Steph Curry or Klay Thompson when he finally get healthy and all the way back where he's starting again. So I just think you could package up an Andrew Wiggins or a Jordan Love, or why don't you go make a play for Kevin Love? Try to reconstruct that contract or something, put him on a better contract. Why don't you try to make a play for him? That would be a great move for them. Like, it's just so many vets out there that I feel like the Warriors need to go just be willing to bite that bullet and make a play for. That they not making a play for. Like, bro, did they not remember how it turned out with Harrison Barnes? A young dude in a big spot who absolutely folded. So, to me, Melo could make a huge difference for this team right now. It's all about the situations that you have somebody in. Melo right now in LA, yeah, it's great. He can hit his open shots and whatnot, but he really not changing life for LA. You put Melo on Golden State, whole different situation. Golden State actually need Melo points. LA need way more than Melo points right now. They need a lot more than just Melo's points. And so Melo's points on Golden State mean more than Melo points on LA. And now let's talk about LA. You had as many 20 turnovers, you're not going to win the game. It's just, it is what it is. I'm happy to see Brandon Ingram come back and shit on us. Obviously, that's my guy. I hope he come back to LA one day. But listen, sometimes for LA, you had this game. I really think, what's crazy to me? I've been an LA fan my whole life. And this generation of Lakers, it's weird to me how they sign so many dudes who are just atrocious at what they signed them to do. You sign dudes to be three-point shooters. Dudes can't hit three-pointers when they're with the Lakers. You hire dudes to be defenders. They not good defenders with the Lakers. Like, it's crazy how that Lakers stage is so bright and so much pressure to be a Laker that you really do see dudes fold when it comes time to, be a Laker. It's crazy because I see dudes light it up when they with these teams that ain't on TV all the time, and then they come to the Lakers and they just not the same. That's interesting. But that aside, listen, the Lakers, it feel like they in ninth place right now. It feel like they battling. They just gonna have to figure a way to hang in there till AD get back. It feel like, and to be honest with you, saying that really don't bring me no type of faith or no type of joy or optimism because people keep telling me AD top 10. Listen, AD is a great AD is a great player when he healthy. The problem is AD is never fucking healthy. I also think AD pick and choose when he want to show up. Too many times he don't show up. My biggest problem with AD, and I got a lot of problems with AD, but one of my biggest problems currently with AD is the fact that he was brought to this team to be the man. Like LeBron wanted to be able to take on the number 2 role of his this part of his career and watch AD be the leader. But that ain't happened. That has not happened. LeBron done had to be the number 1 ever since he done been in LA. And I think that's really pissing LeBron off. He not gonna say it to AD. He not gonna be disrespectful to AD. He not gonna try to shit on AD's value or nothing like that. But it'd be hard pressed for me to, if I could go inside LeBron James' brain or his mind and not find a thought of him being irritated with this AD situation. Like, the motherfucker always hurt. You can't get the motherfucker to play aggressive every game on the schedule. Like, he turned into a jump shooter some games. And if he hitting the shots, cool, you happy about it. But what are you this tall for, bruh? What are you this big for, bruh? That's why I say about Joel Embiid. I don't give a fuck that Joel Embiid shoot 3-pointers. I understand the generation of basketball we in. But come on, bro, you damn near 300 pounds. You got all this you got an entire bag of moves in the post. I want your ass to be in the post also. And speaking of Joel Embiid, listen, it's one of the reasons I tell you I don't watch the NBA, bro, in full games, bro. You send a motherfucker to the line 25. Now, listen, when I was watching, he had been to the line 26 times. So I'm pretty sure he finished the game going to the line about 30 plus times. You send a motherfucker to the line 25 plus times. You send a motherfucker to the line 18, 15 something times, bro, I'm going to get irritated. But the fact that you sent, and I saw somebody say, well, don't foul him if you don't want to go to the line that many times. No. How about the ref has some integrity and don't keep fucking calling that many fouls on a dude? Like, that's insane that somebody can go to the line that many times. Like, him and Harden already showing off the chemistry. Harden go to the line a lot. You got Embiid already starting. Like, that was just fucking insane. 25 times at one point when I was watching. I know he had to finish with 30 plus free throws. Like, absolutely, not to mention the Knicks missing all their free throws and shit. Like, insane, bro, that the refs can dictate games like this. I told you, they can start momentum, they can kill momentum. They can start runs, they can kill runs. They can win your games, they can lose your games. It's just all about how they feeling that night, to be completely honest with you. And hey, if you really lucky, maybe they won't decide the game at all. But I just truly doubt that's gonna happen. Because NBA refs love deciding fucking games. It's what they do. They can't help it. That's why I say the NBA got the absolute worst refs in all of fucking sports. Because this is what they do. They make themselves a part of the game. When the only thing you supposed to be here for, bruh, is to officiate the fucking game. That's it. We need you to officiate the game. We don't need you to do nothing else. Instead, officials make themselves players. And this is why it's so hard to watch an NBA game. Sometimes it'll be 20 seconds left. And 20 seconds turn into like fucking 20 minutes. Because a mountain of fucking calls. It's insane. It's fucking insane. I don't know how people sit through that shit. But hey, shout out to Joel Embiid, because the one positive in it, this motherfucker was drilling them free throws. And I love a center that can drill free throws like that. Pause. The man was, hey, you send a motherfucker to the line that many times, I'm hoping he hit far over 50% of his shots. And he is a center who hit far over 50% of his shots. So that's fucking impressive for Joel Embiid. So that's the positive in it. Motherfucker can drill free throws as a center. I like that shit. I appreciate that. But back to the Lakers. What do the Lakers do right now? Like how can they fix this? How can they, because it's looking like they might not make the playoffs. It's really looking like they might not make the playoffs. But I already even talked about how LeBron, he really can't dominate. Physically, he cannot dictate a game like he used to. But he shouldn't have to at this age. Like, you should not expect this LeBron at this stage of his career to still have to dictate a game with his dominance physically. Like, that's why he got AD. That's why he wanted them to trade for AD, because he thought AD would be able to carry games for him, and he would just have to be the sidekick. That hasn't been the case. That hasn't been the case. And so, I don't blame Bron. Like I said, what player at this stage of their career, at this age, dictated a game with their physicality? Like, I can't remember too many. For one, it's not too many players that, played this great deep into their career like LeBron. So, I mean, to me, the problem in LA is AD. You need your best player, which is what you would. Obviously, LeBron is the best player on the Lakers, but what you wanted was that you expected AD to be growing into the best player role. Obviously, you might not expect him to be better than LeBron at this stage, but you expected him to be the best player as far as like carrying this team wise. Yeah, you expected LeBron still be LeBron, but you didn't expect LeBron to have to carry this type of load. But with LeBron getting injured here and there, and like I said, not on LeBron. This is late in his career. This is not prime, middle of his career, early in his career LeBron James. Him getting hurt and shit, that's not on LeBron. To me, you let AD off the hook, the more and more people try to blame stuff on LeBron. To me, even blaming shit on Russ. Because this ain't Russ in the middle of his career. This ain't Russ early in his career. This is late in his career, Russell Westbrook. And listen, I understand the turnovers is a problem. I understand people saying Russ play with too much, he don't really think too much when he playing. He's got low basketball. All that type of stuff could be true. But the fact of the matter is, Anthony Davis is supposed to be in his prime right now. And he cannot carry this Laker team. And to me, the worst part of this ain't even the fact that he can't carry him with LeBron and Russ on the floor. The problem is the fact that, the problem ain't that he can't carry him without those two on the floor. The problem is he can't carry these motherfuckers even when those two dudes on the floor. That's why people need to respect that Warriors super team a lot more. That Boston team a lot more. Like, it's hard to make some of these teams work. Especially when the best the dude that is supposed to all be centered around is the one that's making it the hardest to make it work. AD ain't getting enough. Like, people is not on AD's ass enough. And you would think now that he in LA, more people would constantly be on his ass. Don't feel that way. Don't feel that way. And I really don't know what you say to AD, bruh. Like, you this late in your career, you don't want a championship, that COVID championship. What do you say? Maybe the man's body is just not built for the long haul, bro. Maybe it just is what it is. But to me, the Lakers' biggest problem is Anthony Davis. And if they can't figure out how to get this motherfucker going on a consistent basis. And I also think one of the biggest problems when having AD as your best players, AD don't make people around him better. And I done said this multiple times. Like, it's hard to build your team around a dude when the best player on your team is the best player just based off of his scoring ability. It's one thing when your best player is like a point guard and he can get everybody involved. He a traditional point guard. Even to me, traditional people like the score first point guards do a good job to an extent in getting others involved. You do have those certain point guards that don't. Like, I can't remember if it was Dame or what point guard it was who had like 40-something points one game and like 0 assists. But listen, to me, it's even crazy. It's harder to even for a team when your best player is your center. Because a center, usually you got to feed him the ball. You got to get him the ball. He got to set up and put himself in position to get him the ball. He usually not going to be a dude who can dribble and whatnot. And AD a rare breed to where he can dribble, and he don't really play big most of the time because of how fragile he is. And that's not me being disrespectful. That's just me going off of the history of him getting hurt. He's a more fragile player. So, to me, if they can't figure out this, I really think they need to trade AD. I never thought they should have traded for AD. But I think LeBron realized that it is what it is with this. And I think they need to find a way to trade him. I just think it's going to be hard to trade AD personally because people understand his injury history. Then again, like I done said before, it could be a team out there that say our doctors can get him right. And if you can get him healthy, the talent of an AD, I mean, shit, it could probably be teams out there who don't even give a fuck if they doctors can get him right or not. All they give a fuck about is if he healthy, this motherfucker right here is a top 10 player to us. And that could be all that matters. But all I know is with the way he been in LA, the fact that when he is on the court, you got to question if he actually playing hard or not. He always healthy, hurt. Like, it's just, to me, it's so many problems right now that this is not what LeBron need for the end of his career. Now, in a perfect world, LeBron would just say, fuck all this shit and go to Golden State and finish his career out with the Warriors. Him and Steph giving us highlights to end their careers. But I know that's not going to happen. So, to me, the Lakers in the offseason, because I think you stuck with the team you got right now. And like I said, the only way to turn this thing around, because LeBron and Russ can play as good as they can. But the fact of the matter is, it's hard for LeBron to be the best player on a team every game during the regular season and didn't have to do all of that shit during the playoffs again. That's why if Russ could turn, chop down on the turnovers and, be the point guard, get everybody else involved. Like, in a perfect world, Russ, they wouldn't even need Russ to score because AD and LeBron and other dudes would be doing their job. They would just need Russ getting everybody else involved. But because they haven't figured out a way, and like I said about dudes who come over here and the role players, hey, everybody got to pitch in and do their job. I think it's hard. And I saw a report talking about, do you trade LeBron? What? I done said it before. You do not trade a player like LeBron James. A player like LeBron James either leaves your organization or stays or comes to your organization. It ain't no trading LeBron James. Come on now. You got to, and to me, to say trade LeBron James is just fucking lazy. Like, that's the lazy way out of this. No, you don't trade LeBron James. If anything, you trade Anthony Davis. I'm just being honest. I know a lot of people are going to think that's crazy, but I think it's crazy that people would actually think that it's okay to think you could trade LeBron James. To me, that's just absolutely insane. Disrespectful as hell, too, but trade LeBron James? Are you serious right now? Like, you don't trade LeBron James. Come on now. Let's not we being goofy. You don't fucking trade LeBron James. I think AD, like, I truly do believe that it's value in trading AD. I really do. The injuries scare me. I'm not gonna lie. Like that because a great GM would be like, man, I'm looking at what this motherfucker doing in LA, and it's just so hard to, to risk trade. But I know Boston wanted him at one point in time, but Boston ain't giving you what you want in order to get trade away AD. Like, you're not getting fucking Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum for AD. It's like, you know what I'm saying? That shit's not happening. But I'm pretty sure it's a great trade package out there that could involve Anthony Davis and a team that got a lot of pieces that could help Bron right now. I really think the Warriors doing a disservice to their team and their fan base of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond by not making and pulling the trigger on certain vet trades and different vet moves that could make their team way better than it is right now. I just don't understand this relying on these young dudes. And maybe it's not even relying on the young dudes. It's thinking Curry and Dre, when they get healthy and Klay get healthy, it's all going to fit in perfectly and whatnot. But I just think it's insane to think that, to be completely honest with you. I just really do. And not only that, like I said, man, these dudes, you killing their careers by not doing these type of moves that could... Now listen, there could be some people out there who think like, oh man, Melo doesn't help this team. But I just beg to differ. But with the Lakers right now, I just think it's gonna be a tough season for LA fans because, like I said, if fucking AD don't come back and do what you need AD to do, it's gonna be tough. Like, I never seen a player get these accolades and like get the recognition of being a superstar and a top fucking player and never have to actually live up to it. Like, it's so crazy, yo. But hey, I'm not here to hate on AD. I'm not here to hate on AD. I'm just saying what I've witnessed. But you know, you could be watching AD and you could think completely different than what I think. But this is just what I think when I see AD, personally, and what I think that will help the Lakers right now. Because this motherfucker being hurt all the time, and then when he do play, not really changing life for the Lakers, he just 30 points there. And I know it's crazy to say, oh, he just 30, like, but come on, man. And yeah, he could play defense. But listen, AD is what can fix the Lakers. To me, he is. Everybody focusing on Russ and whatnot, but listen, those are the scapegoats, not the real problems. AD could fix all this. What do the Knicks need to do to fix their situation right now? After a great season last year. And this is kind of like a Thibodeau type team, though. You play them so long and so many minutes, they overachieve. I don't think Julius Randle a bad player. I do think Jude need to work on them free throws because you can't miss the amount of free throws he missed when you're supposed to be the best player on the team. And you're going to be going to the line as much as Julius is going to be going to the line. I think really the problem right now is that as good as Julius is, he is a physically dominant player who relies a lot on his physicality. He's going to have to become more fundamental, put some more fundamentals in his game so that he don't have to rely on his physicality as much as he get older. But I think one of the problems with Julius right now is the fact that he the best player on the team that really ain't got. There's a lot of young players on the team, and maybe you think R.J. Barrett the best player on the team. I think Julius the best player on the team right now. I think he the best player on the team, though, in a team in which is not truly built for him to be the best player on the team. I think Julius, like, if he was with the Warriors, and I keep putting people on the Warriors, but the Warriors would make sense for him. The Hawks would make sense for him. If they could get fucking AD to be healthy like Julius Randle I think another problem with Julius is if you could get him to defend better. Julius don't really defend great to be a power forward and to be as big as he is. And I know he kind of undersized compared to a motherfucker like Julius Randle. Really, when I think about Julius Randle, because that's the thing. I'm comparing him to Embiid, and I'm ignoring the fact that Embiid just bigger motherfucker than him, so that Embiid just physically will win more matchups because of how much bigger and physically dominant that Embiid is. But one of the things that I'm thinking about is the fact that Julius Randle, to an extent, he got a little mid-range jump shot. It's not as good as Embiid. Embiid is a better shooter. Embiid got a better post-up game. He got a better post-bag. Like, Embiid is all the way around it, and Embiid is a great defender. Julius Randle is not a good defender. He don't really have a great post game. Everybody know he gonna go to one side to go because he want to use his dominant hand, which is the left hand. He don't really like to finish with his right. I think Julius lack a lot of things right now. So when he your best player on your team, or when you trying to lead your team through Julius, it's just hard right now. That's no shot at Julius, and that's no fault of Julius. He's still developing his game and whatnot. But I just think it's tough to have a Knicks team built around a dude his game is not completely full yet. And last year you had Derrick Rose, a vet. Like, that's a dude that the Warriors could go using for the team, and they won't sign him. So I just don't understand what the fuck the Warriors is doing, to be honest with you. Like, you won your championship, not with just young dudes. You had vets on that team, like good vets. But to me, Julius Randle would make a lot of sense on a lot of different teams, not named the Knicks. And I do think Knicks fans hating on that man way too hard. Y'all fans just really way too entitled for me, man. But Julius Randle, a good player. I just don't think when you have him as your best player and he don't have like the complete game or size like a like a Joel Embiid or a Karl Anthony Towns, or even to an extent, not him, but a Karl Anthony Towns, a Joel Embiid, a Jokic. It's hard because Julius Randle don't have the post game or the bags to be or the offensive repertoires, period, of none of those three big men I just named. Like, he don't got the post. When I think about Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, and Jokic, all three of those dudes. Now Jokic and Cat is iffy with the defense. But aside from that, all three of those dudes, offensively, unbelievable. In the post, they can shoot mid-range, three-pointer. What's crazy is all three of the motherfuckers could take you off the dribble. Like, I just think Julius got a lot to improve on. And listen, he could possibly be the best player on your team. I think the thing that's also working against him is when you look at those other three dudes, those dudes is big. Those are big dudes. Like, I done seen those three dudes leaning on motherfuckers in the post, tiring motherfuckers out, just leaning on them. Like, those is big dudes, man. Julius is a big dude compared to some other dudes, but he ain't nowhere near as big as them three dudes. So I just think that that's what's working against the Knicks right now. Now, I think they could make a push, but the East kind of tough right now. And even if they do make it to the play-in game, I think they could lose the play-in game. But I do think they'd be a first-round exit. I just don't think they're as good as a team like Chicago when Chicago healthy. The Nets, if the Nets can get healthy. And speaking about the Nets, I saw the thing where it said Kyrie basically still wouldn't be able to play even if the mandate was dropped because New York workers have to be vaccinated in order to work with, which is crazy in itself that you can't work. State employees can't work unless they vaccinated. That's wild. But Kyrie, I saw somebody tweet, Kyrie got to sue New York. No, Kyrie just got to request a trade. Like, dead ass. You cannot keep blaming Kyrie for this. Like I said, somebody also pointed out the man can sit in the arena, but he can't play in the arena. What? Like, it's so many rules. And again, remember, the visiting team can have non-vaccinated players play. So, like I said, just unbelievably stupid rules, stupidity all around. I do not understand it. If I'm Kyrie Irving, at this point in time, I'm just requesting a trade. I'm requesting a trade because it should not be the only way you can solve this is by getting vaccinated. No, bro, you cannot be forcing people to do certain shit. And I understand there's consequences to your actions and shit like that. I get that. But this thing right here is so far and away so stupid at this point. And it makes absolutely no sense at this point that you can't just keep blaming this blindly on the surface on Kyrie. At least in my opinion. If you want to keep blaming Kyrie, sure. Because I done seen people say, well, if you want to fix this, just go get vaccinated. And like I said, I just don't think you could be forcing people to, like, to me, when you put these type of rules, and people keep saying, oh, it's a choice. Well, it's not a choice if you put so many rules in place, like, to where you could just straight up being punished when you don't get something. When the incentives is just punishment when you don't get nothing, then it's not a choice. Okay? And so, like I said, the fact that people who can come into Barclays and not players can play even if they unvaccinated on the road team, just not on the home if you play for the Nets. And also, if they drop the mandate, then Kyrie still won't be able to play. Like, come on, man. Kyrie should just request a trade. At this point, it's very clear the motherfuckers don't want the motherfucker playing in the thing. Like, Kyrie should just request a trade at this point to a team that will allow him to play even as he is unvaccinated. And this is what's funny. The motherfucker can get traded and then will be able to play. Say he get traded to a team that played Brooklyn 2 times in Brooklyn. The motherfucker would be able to go and play Brooklyn unvaccinated on another team that's on the road in Brooklyn both of those times. That's how absolutely fucking stupid this rule is. Makes absolutely zero sense. Cannot understand it for the life of me. Adam Silver and some people really got to figure something out, because this shit just makes no sense. Even Adam Silver done addressed how the rule, this shit makes no, this mandate makes no sense. I just don't get it. James Harden had a triple double today, so shout out James Harden. I saw somebody tweet, this motherfucker James Harden really do keep a fat bodysuit in the closet in case of emergencies. He keep that shit in the glass like Queen Latifah, man. Don't make me break the glass. They keep making him break the glass, they tell me. It's crazy out here. But I done addressed really the things that I wanted to address in this episode, and I really appreciate y'all for joining me, man. I told myself I'm not going to be getting on here telling y'all, oh, man, it's so hard to talk about No, it's not. The thing about basketball is you got to try to find the good games and the importance of some of these games. Towards the end of the season, when the shit start to get more important, when games start to matter a little bit more, the intensity will pick up a little bit more. Listen, I understand it's hard to get through a lot of these games. So that's why I don't start watching the NBA until after till the All-Star break and after football season over. Because there's so many games. It's 82 games to be exact. You ain't missing shit most of the time. And trust me, anything that's good enough, that's like watch worthy, ESPN will have it on there. I promise you. Curry was lighting up the world during the towards the end of football season, and it was on ESPN every day. So, not hard to talk about basketball. You just gotta, it is when you see the refs doing that bullshit they was doing over there in Philly, but hey, man, basketball just getting started, just starting to get good now, man. Stuttering shit. Hey, yo, MLB, what's up, man? MLB really hate itself. Amazing, really. Motherfuckers really finna be canceling games and shit just because they can't come to an agreement. You hate to see it, but with that, I appreciate you motherfuckers for joining me on another episode of Kickin' with Saint. Raccoons are menaces to society. I feel how I feel, and you cannot change that. Also, squirrels are just big fucking rats with bushy ass tails. As possums are just big ass rats with the same tails, basically. One time I was moving my homie E. I was moving his parents, actually. I was moving them into another house. And we was moving his stepdad's freezer. And his stepdad's freezer was heavy as shit. And we was like, man, we gotta take some of this shit out of this shit, because we ain't had no dolly or nothing. And I could lift my end pretty straight, but you really don't want to have to do, you don't want to be exerting way too much strain on your body and shit, especially when you're trying to move shit with dudes who really ain't movers. So we was taking shit out of the freezer, and he had everything vacuum sealed and shit up real nice. And as we starting to get into this freezer, bruh, I'm seeing animals and shit in it, dead animals and shit. Man, this motherfucker got a freezer full of roadkill, man. This motherfucker had a possum in that bitch. He had a raccoon in that bitch. He had a couple other animals in that bitch. He had some deer meat in that bitch. I'm like, yo, man, this is insane to me right now. I'm looking at these animals fall out, and to me, it's like watching dead bodies fall out of the freezer. I'm like, oh my fucking Jesus. And I'm not a vegan or no shit like that. I can watch animals get killed all day long. Oh man, I know I shouldn't have said that shit. I can watch an animal do what they whatever the fuck. I see animals do what they instinctually do, kill other animals for survival and shit like that. Imagine that, bro. Like, I be seeing people say that when they come back, they want to be reincarnated as a lion and shit like that. Like, nah, I don't though. Like, if I come back, just bring me back as a rich person, bro, or myself again, because, or let me start over or something, because, nah, B, I'm not trying to come back as no fucking animal, bro. Like, dog, think about it. A lion could be born and die the exact day it's born, because another fucking lion, an animal, can come along and just kill it. Like, animals literally is fighting for survival every second of the day. These motherfuckers cannot go to sleep. They could go to sleep with 8 other lions around them and not wake up because all 8 of them done been slaughtered, bro. That's how life is out here in the wild, bro. It's a jungle out here. You can do your best not to get lost and still get fucked up. I'm telling you, I do not want to come back as a tiger. Bro, you could think of the most badass animal in the jungle. You ever heard of a liger? I don't even think them motherfuckers live in the jungle. But you heard of a liger? That's a lion and a motherfucking tiger combined. I don't even want to come back as that. You can come back as the biggest gorilla in the world. No shot. It's always another animal out there trying to take your crown. At least when you're a human being, you're not supposed to be out here just trying to kill everybody for, positioning. And I know you still got jackasses and assholes, dickhead pieces of shits out there taking lives and shit. But in the animal kingdom, it's fair game. It ain't no rules, baby. It ain't no, oh, you going to jail if you kill somebody. Oh, it ain't no you going to heaven or hell. Nah. It's survival of the fittest. You talk about a competition of greatness. Man, in the jungle, it's a competition of the greatness every fucking day of who's great. Imagine being a lion as a cub and being able to grow to see, to get a full mane. Like, you know how much you had to survive, unless you live in like a zoo or something like that. And I be thinking, people be talking about, like, and I'm about to end the show, but I just thought about this. I be seeing how people be like, oh man, it's inhumane to have zoos and shit like that. And I agree it's inhumane if they not taking care of the animals and shit like that. But when I hear people talk about like, oh, it's inhumane, they should be able to roam free and shit like this. I mean, I guess they should be able to roam free, but you do realize that they could roam free for 2 days and then be killed on that 3rd day. At least in here they got a chance at survival. When they get sick, they get treated. They get fed a constant diet and shit like that. It's millions of dollars being poured into these zoos, so I'm pretty sure they taking care of it. It'd be one thing if the zoo wasn't taking care of these animals and shit like that. But the fact that the zoos do the best they can to preserve life of these animals and these species of these animals, you do realize most of these motherfuckers ain't just going extinct because people killing them. These animals kill each other too. These animals could be wiping out their entire generations and not even paying attention to it because that's not how they programmed. I know you see animals and shit on TV shows and on movies and shit talking and shit, but I promise you, a lion ain't walking around thinking about its bloodline and shit like that. It's thinking about where its next meal gonna come from. I promise you. Now, maybe I'm wrong, and you can get inside a lion's mind and it's thinking about preserving its generations to come and shit like that. But these animals ain't just going extinct because people killing them. They going extinct because they killing each other for survival too. So I just think it's wild when, you got people saying, oh, man, you shouldn't have them. Because I think they got a better chance of survival if they in the zoos and shit like that. But maybe that's me, being crazy. Maybe that's my human slave thinking mind. We should enslave animals to help them. Us enslaving them will help them. Maybe that's on me. I'm not thinking it's that way for that. But, maybe I'm wrong. But, hey. With that, I appreciate you for joining me on another episode of Kickin' It with Saint. You gotta have a dope day for me. You got to. I'ma truly be hurt if you don't have a dope fucking day. Alright? So have a dope fucking day. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Saint out.
I could drop 1,000,000 songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why y'all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our block, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.